Um, they're a very hard-nosed group. They play extremely physical. They're very efficient at what they do. Um, and looking at our game last year, there's a lot of similarities. They stayed with that theme, and we had our hands full. Again, it's a very physical team. They're big up front. They've got two good running backs. I know they've lost their top receiver, but they've got very capable receivers, and a quarterback does a good job at managing the game. So, by far, the best team that we've played so far. There's no doubt about that.
Defend. Uh, how does Humphrey kind of differ from when you played last year at running back?
Last year, he was their screen guy. He was kind of an outside type of player for him that caused you problems in the open field. He's got really good speed. He's got a track background coming out of high school. He can make you miss. When in doubt, he'll bounce it out. The other back is kind of a change-up back, and he's got more of a tendency to take it up inside and come after you. Then, as you watch in the North Carolina game, Humphrey, even though he's not a very big guy, he absolutely, I wouldn't say levels, but I mean, he knocks the crap out of their middle linebacker. This kid, this number 10, that's a pretty good sized back, and you see it once, you kind of go, oh wow, that's pretty good. And then you see it twice, you go, damn, that's pretty explosive for a smaller guy. So. Again, I mean, I think without a doubt, there's no doubt he's the best back that we've faced this year, so we'll have our hands full with him.
Kaler back at quarterback this year? Same quarterback?
Same quarterback, yes.
What do you see in him as opposed to what you saw last year?
A year older, a year more mature. They put up total offense over 500 yards against North Carolina, and a good sum of that was in the air. Hit some big deep balls. We haven't seen deep balls really. The only deep ball that we've seen was Steve Nelson's pick last week against Hawaii, and this guy, along with his receivers, are much more capable than that. I think even last year, when we played against them, very, very efficient, knew where to go with the ball. Their passing scheme is very fundamentally sound. He's got three receivers all the time to go to. He does a good job at going through the progression, single safety high. He knows to go to the weak side out of a 3-by-1. All those things. If it wasn't for the pick that he threw at somewhere in the second half, I think, end of the third quarter, whatever, off the screen. Other than that, that was the only time he ever panicked. We put pressure on him, and sometimes he was able to get the ball off still. Other times, he knew enough to take the sack and just go on to the next play. They're ahead of where they were last year offensively in all categories: rushing, passing, and points. So again, they've made progress. Hopefully, we've made progress, and again, it'll be by far the best offense we've played this year.
This team hasn't been able to really, have a full, complete game yet. Last time against Hawaii, couldn't really pull it out in the fourth quarter. What do you think this team has to do to play a full game?
I think it's just a matter of focus and paying attention to detail. They're fully capable of doing it. It's in there somewhere. We've talked about it a lot in practice. Staying away from the peaks and valleys and just play at the same level all the time. And somewhere level. And nobody's ever going to play at the very top, but we want to be in that rarefied air and just play consistently and. With no surprises. We don't mind the surprises on the upside, but at some point in time, you've got to really peak out, and that's usually in the critical parts of the game. Otherwise, you just want to play at a high level and consistent and stay away from the valleys. And the big thing is the focus and then paying attention to detail, whether it's just a simple thing like substitution or just being detailed in your alignments and then go play.
You mentioned this earlier, but protecting the run has been an issue last year, coming over to this year as well. And with such a great running back that San Diego State has, what do you think's changed from last year to this
year? You always hope that you improve as a player, as a coach, as a team. There were just some things, last year that we weren't in sync at times. Some of the gaudy numbers that people had against us in the run game, You know, the Washington State, I thought Washington game was not a very good game plan, and the players didn't seem to be very energized or emotionally. And then I think about the Utah game. A lot of that was assignment issues. It was absolutely crazy. So, and that goes back to that focus. But you know, we've always prided ourselves, if we've done one thing well around here, is play against the run, and that's been a theme all the way back to off season, to the spring, and then into summer camp.